What do I not like?
What do you not like about the Cybertruck?
They could have done anything they wanted. Any of those guys that said I was a fanboy, come and talk to me. Is it a work truck? No. Anybody got a story that's better than that? That's what every car company should have, is one of those. They were huge in China. And by the way, as far as a fanboy is concerned, I mean, I don't know where they got that.
Here we are at the Everything Electric Show in Vancouver, Canada. And for the first time, I get to speak with Sandy Munro on Canadian soil. So, Sandy, thank you so much for taking the time. We've got the Cybertruck behind us. And the last time we talked, the Cybertruck that was behind us was torn apart into many, many pieces. So I just want to hear your thoughts as far as from when you first saw the Cybertruck to when you tore it apart. What are your thoughts on it now?
Well, I'm actually driving the other one. So I got a lot of experience now driving it. So tearing it apart was interesting. There's a whole bunch of, there's a tremendous number of little surprises that we found. Most of the technology stuff is just brilliant. I mean, the 48 volt system, the Ethernet ring, all the other little doodads. The rear steering really makes it turns it into a sports car. I mean, turning in a parking lot, it actually takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm driving, an F-250, and then the next thing you know, I'm crawling into a space that I never thought I would ever be able to get into.
Yeah.
Steer-by-wire was brilliant. Actually, in the steer-by-wire thing, there's a circuit board. It's about this big, and on it says, "Hi, Sandy." And there's a little Taurus sign.
It says, "Hi, Sandy"?
It is. It does. There's a couple of those inside.
So the Tesla guys here are trolling you.
No, they sent some Easter eggs to find out if I'm, paying attention.
And if you're how far are you tearing this thing down?
And we've torn that down to the chips on a circuit board. So wow. We didn't tear everything apart. We didn't do the body. It really isn't that exciting. And our customers really wanted to see was the electronics, the casting, the suspension system, that sort of stuff was what they were really interested in. So we have a different sort of a deal now, and we've got a second report, which is almost as expensive, and that's the one that we did that basically does all the mapping for all the wiring for everything, and that's really cool because I thought we were going to see the Ethernet ring run everything, but that isn't what happens.
Oh.
You have to have some things running on CAN bus, and we did not know that until we got into it. So there's a whole bunch of surprises.
Wow.
Some good, some I don't understand, and others that are brilliant. Really brilliant.
Well, I went through some of the almost 1,000 comments we got on the last video we did together, and there was kind of a reoccurring theme, and it's Sandy's a big fanboy, and Sandy's all about Tesla. So let me ask you, Sandy, and I throw it out there, give you a tough question. What do you not like about the Cybertruck?
What do I not like?
What do you not like about the Cybertruck?
It's a lot bigger than I anticipated. I don't like the A-pillar and roof bow.
Okay.
Because it's got a blind spot. My suggestion would be to cover that and turn it into basically a screen. So it would be invisible, and that would be my biggest complaint, is that thing is hard to, the little window doesn't really do it for me.
So solvable with technology.
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing I don't much care for is I keep wanting to put the rear view mirror and the two side mirrors up and stay there. I don't give a damn about navigation, and I don't play that many different songs and whatnot. All I want is that.
Okay.
But every time I put it up there, I move it to, prime spot and whatnot, it always disappears, and then I got to go and find it again, bring it up and put it back on the front screen. So those are the only two real big complaints I got. And by the way, as far as a fanboy is concerned, I mean, I don't know where they got that, but I can tell you right now that there are a lot of good electric vehicles coming out right now. And quite frankly, I do love this, and I'm taking it hunting, and I'm getting a tent for it from Lacey's Miss Go EV.
Oh yeah.
Her and Tim have gotten me a tent. I'm going to put that on. That's where I'm going to sleep and make my coffee, and I'll plug in down below. Everything's going to be perfect for me to go hunting with this thing. And so I love that. But is it a work truck? No, I don't want it as a work truck. I have an F-150 Lightning, best work truck that's ever been put on the marketplace. I also have, well, we have a bunch of other different cars that we've been reviewing and whatnot, and I can't really tell you too many cars that electric cars, that I would throw too many rocks at. We're just in the process of tearing apart the EV9. Lots of good technology, comfortable, fast. The one thing about Tesla, and not mine, because that's the other thing I don't like, there's no self-driving.
Right.
None whatsoever. And there's nothing
coming.
for lane control. Coming.
That's what we're told.
So is Christmas. But at the end of the day, when
Santa.
that gets that'll take away the biggest thing that I'd like to see.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, as far as all the rest of the Teslas, it's going to be a long, long time before anybody can catch up to self-driving that Tesla's got.
So Sandy, that actually leads me right into my next question. So we're doing some telepathy here, but what are your thoughts on kind of the latest iterations of self-driving? Have you had a chance to try them out? Yeah. I mean, I just drove my car on full self-driving from Austin, Texas, all the way up to San Francisco, and I was just absolutely blown away.
What have you got?
And I'm in the Model S Plaid. And at the time, this was, again, a couple months ago, there's been 2 updates since then. But at the time, it was the latest software, and I was just really impressed.
My mom used to say, if you haven't got anything good to say, shut up. So I'm not going to talk about anybody else's system, but I will tell you, my wife, Susan, does have a Model S Plaid.
Okay.
And that car knows where it is all the time. We get into her car, if she's driving that day, we get into the car, she'll like lift the garage door, and then she'll back out and put it into self-driving, and backs out, goes down our driveway, goes down our dirt road, goes down to a real street called Joslin, heads down Joslin, gets onto I-75, gets off of 75, gets down the off-ramp to get to our place, spins into the parking lot and parks in her parking spot.
Wow.
There's only one parking spot that has anybody's name on it, and that's hers, and that's where it goes. Really?
Wow.
Show me that.
Yeah,
I mean, anybody got a story that's better than that? Come and talk to me. Any of those guys that said I was a fanboy? Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
Show me where I'm all screwed up. I'd be happy to discuss things.
We'll make another video.
Now we'll make another video.
Okay, so we covered Tesla. We talked about the FSD. I mean, really, in my opinion, nobody's close. We'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of chatter out there. But as far as, Legacy Auto's concerned, I mean, we're at a show right now where, we've got Toyota over here with plug-in hybrids, and we got Hyundai over here. They really have been coming on strong to the scene, and from what I've seen, as far as Hyundai.
Hyundai and Kia, we've taken apart the EV9 and the Ioniq, okay? Right down to nothing. There's some good stuff that's coming out on EV9. When we tore that apart, we were stunned when we saw the rear motor. It's really, really jazzy. I was really impressed. And it defies the laws a little bit, or it defies what everybody else thinks is the law. So no, Kia Hyundai is doing really well. Are they going to be one of the top 5? Probably not. But You know what? They're in the game. And then over here you got VinFast.
Right.
VinFast, I mean, a lot of people didn't think they'd make it this far, but here they are. And look at how many cars they got sitting out there. In fact, Grace's favorite car is one of the VinFast vehicles.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's the
which one is it?
It's the Polestar 2-seater with a convertible and stuff like that.
She has classy taste.
Well, expensive taste. Yeah.
Expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so let's talk about some of the bigger automakers. One of them that comes to mind is Volkswagen. They've got a lot of displays here between, they got their new microbus here, the ID Buzz. They've got a bunch of Audi e-trons and all that sort of thing. What do you think's happening with Volkswagen, one of the largest auto manufacturers on the planet, as far as electrification?
Okay, they're probably in the worst shape that any car company could even imagine. They have conflicts with their, North Saxony or whatever. They've got problems with the union, and the union and the government basically have more votes than the Piesh family and the rest of the shareholders.
Wow.
And so consequently, you probably heard that just recently Volkswagen made the only smart move I've seen in a while. They decided to jump in and invest in Rivian.
Rivian.
My guess is take a look at the model or the R3.
Yeah.
That's why they went in. That thing is brilliant.
It is.
That's what every car company should have, is one of those.
Yeah.
And virtually nobody else has got one. That's what Ford needs.
I was just speaking to one of the designers, one of the interior designers.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if there's one thing, because I've started studying Rivian quite a bit as of late, and if there's one word I can use, you tell me if you agree, but kind of you distill that company, and one word to describe them would be thoughtful. It seems like every part of the design, and of course you've owned several Rivians, so you can attest to this.
Well, we owned one.
Yes.
And it was Sue's favorite car.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we have a defense contract, and our defense company, one of our defense companies, needed 3 battery packs from a Rivian, because Rivian decided they weren't going to sell them battery packs because of the defense and whatever.
Okay.
So anyway, Sue found one right away, but they needed 3.
Okay.
And they needed the second one like right now. So she sold them her Rivian, and that was a sad day. Now the Rivian, this is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
The Ford Lightning is kind of nice, but when it comes to off-roading, nothing, and I mean 0, can compare with the Rivian RT1.
Wow.
I'm telling you what, that thing was brilliant, and Sue absolutely loved it.
We saw some footage of you hopping over logs with yours. And
logs. I crawled all over everything. And I took it in the mud. I was afraid to put it in the mud there. I've taken it over like 60-degree angles. I never had any problems with it. That thing was brilliant. Unfortunately, it's gone. Give you a big shout out to Doug Peterson. He's the one who, when he found out that Sue had to sell her Rivian to keep a defense contractor happy.
Yeah.
Well, Doug phoned up. He phoned up me first, and then said, "What I hear is true." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm going to give Sue a call." And I said, "What for?" So, well, I got a Model S Plaid that we aren't using. Anyway, Sue and him worked out a deal, and now Sue's got one of these cars, and she absolutely loves it. She likes it even better than the Rivian because it's a lot more luxurious. And Sue's kind of a girly girl, and
like a little softer ride type of thing.
Well, it's not the ride; it's getting in and out of it.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to hop up and whatnot.
Right.
She is not an off-roader. She loves the power, and like I said, the
Plaid is crazy power,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
The self-driving, it just drives her crazy. She's really excited about that. She did not have that in the Rivian. Like I said, Tesla does a lot of good things in a real good way. Other guys do this or that. Tesla definitely has self-driving down pat.
So you feel that, just coming back to the Rivian Volkswagen deal, you feel that that's a good move for Volkswagen. Is it a good move for Rivian?
It's hard to say. They got like, I think it was like $1 or $2 billion. A lot of money anyway. Mm-hmm. And money is always handy to have. So from that standpoint, yeah, I think that's good for them. The thing for Volkswagen, like I said, this could give them a platform they can actually use. Okay. So I don't know if you noticed, but you've got the Volkswagen here, the bus here.
Yep.
And right over here on the other side, you've got the transit van from Ford.
Right.
That's the same platform. You know that, right? Both of those are built on MEB platform.
I did not know that.
There's
so you got a cargo van and then a kind of a lifestyle van on the same chassis. Okay.
Yeah. So those are the kinds of things that car companies do.
Yeah.
So although it's not as popular around my company as what you think, I still think that the minivan or the van that they've got, the bus van or whatever, the bus van is kind of like a really good thing
Yeah.
for Volkswagen.
I think they'll sell.
But I can tell you right now, they're I mean, there's no way to get an over-the-air download.
Software.
There's their steering is not where it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're aware of it, but maybe your fanboys can dig this one up. I predicted that Volkswagen would crush Tesla
Okay.
because how could they not? They were huge in China.
Yeah.
They had more money than God. They could have done anything they wanted.
Yeah. Throw their weight around.
Oh, throw their intelligence around. And what happened? They brought out the ID4, and I looked at it, and I drove it, and I went, I couldn't get it to charge. And it was Electrify American. It's their charger,
Yeah.
and it won't charge. I mean, I was going nuts with
Yeah.
this thing. What the heck? And we never tore it apart.
And they're still
Now,
having issues.
and they will, because it's a bad design. Okay, so, but the electric motor, fabulous. Not as good as Lucid. Lucid's got the best electric
And very
motor.
compact too.
It's well, and that's the basically the transmission. That is really brilliant.
Yeah.
So that everybody's got a little something that makes them really special. I can't just point at somebody and say, oh, they're the best at everything, because
Right.
I could in the past. I could point at Tesla and say they did everything right, because nobody else had anything to compare it to. Now you got a lot of stuff coming into the marketplace,
Right.
and
New products.
but I think that the company that's in most jeopardy is definitely Volkswagen.
Wow. Wow, that's super profound. One last thing, and that is to do with, again, you and I both have a background in legacy auto, and just as far as the market shifting, I'm starting to see, and you tell me if you agree, a lot more kind of amalgamations happening. So we're seeing a lot more partnerships with platforms and chassis between companies that previous to EV were at odds, and now all of a sudden they're becoming buddy-buddy and kind of getting together on projects. Do you think we're going to see like some mergers, like, you know, Nissan and Toyota, or Subaru and Toyota, and some of these companies kind of turning into mega auto companies to survive? What do you think about that? Just over the next 10 years.
Over the next 10 years, I would say that probably about 60 or 70% of all the car companies in China will disappear. But the biggest car company on the planet is going to be BYD. And it could be that number 2 is going to be Geely or Toyota.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that one of those two will be in second and third place. Tesla, I think, is going to be in fourth place.
Okay.
And fifth, believe it or not, is Chery. I'm picking Chery, and the reason for that is because they've just figured out how to do an entire lower chassis in one piece.
With a casting.
16,000 tons.
Wow.
I've never even. I mean, look around. 16,000 ton press. You'd have to have a taller ceiling, and that's what it would look like.
Really?
From here over, that's what it would look like.
Just gargantuan.
I'm telling you, it's gigantic.
Yeah.
Gigantic. And now that you can do that in one piece, that gets rid of at least 50% of your body shop.
Really?
Really. One machine.
Yeah.
Get rid of.
So
And I heard something else too.
Yeah.
I heard that machine is made by the guys who own Hydra. That KS owns
Parent company.
is the parent company
Okay.
for Hydra. I don't know who's making the molds, but I just heard that some of the guys that have got the CPC molds, or sorry, post-stamp molds, they're getting something like 500,000 hits.
Wow.
If that's the case, if what I heard is real, that's the huge game changer. I can't do that with stamping dies.
Yeah.
I can't do that with anything. 500,000, it's impossible. But that's what I heard. Some guy came up and shook my hand and told me that, and I said, I absolutely can't believe it.
Wow.
But I'm going to check it out.
So
But that's what I heard.
That's incredible. So you're feeling that the secret moving forward, secret sauce to success in EV is not necessarily so much the technology, because we're seeing a lot of other companies coming up, but it's going to be more in the manufacturing, how the vehicle's built with these
Yeah.
giga presses and finding
I think it's
efficiencies.
going to be two or three things. Number one is how fast can you get into high-speed communications, right? So the Ethernet, the 48 volts, that kind of stuff. That's number one. Number two is going to be electronics. What are you going to do for edge computing so that you can get rid of latent?
Right.
Because now, milliseconds mean a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the third one is probably going to be, how are you manufacturing this car so that you can minimize the amount of labor? That's the number one thing that they're trying to shoot for, and increase the amount of accuracy that it's going to take to put the car together. And those are the three things that and software, should have been four. Software is the big one.
Yeah, software is.
And I don't know whether you heard or not, but General Motors just got rid of 1,000 software engineers, and because they weren't doing what they were supposed to do.
Wow.
So they've gone into some outside source. I can't remember. I just went totally blank there for a second. But anyways, they're going to probably hire it out.
Total new direction, farm it in. Yeah. Interesting. Well, there's an incredible amount of change happening. And literally just in the past few months since we talked previous, it's amazing to see how many changes have happened already. But thank you very much for taking a few minutes with us here in Vancouver, Canada. We're back on our Canadian turf. A lot of viewers don't know, but both Sandy and I were previously from Canada and emigrated to the United States.
Right.
So we come back and forth from time to time. Anyways, thank you very much, Sandy.
Thanks,
it's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Great seeing you again.
We'll see you guys in the next video.